Welcome back to Torah in 10, Parsha Nitzavim. I'm Jody Berkel, and I'm so excited to be here with you again. What's the life-changing idea Rabbi Sacks of Blessed memory teaches us this week? Don't wait for the world to get better. Take the initiative yourself. The world is waiting for you. When I first read this, I immediately thought of the most expensive mug I ever bought for myself. It was many years ago, but when I saw it at Indigo, I knew I had to have it because it's been my life's mantra since I was young. And I wanted to wake up every day, grab my coffee, and be motivated by its message. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Rabbi Sacks tells us that something remarkable happens in this week's Parsha, almost without us noticing it. But it changed the terms of Jewish history and has life-changing implications for all of us. I have shared many times that Judaism is a relationship. That was what our forefather Abraham brought to the world. Not only the concept of monotheism, but the idea of covenantal monotheism, that there's only one God and that he is intimately involved in every aspect of our lives. Up to this Parsha, God has made 3 covenants with the Jewish people. The first was with Noah, when according to our sages, God gave him the 7 Noahide laws, 7 commandments for all of humanity. In this relationship, Noah was passive. There was no specific response to what he was being asked to do. The second was with our forefather Abraham and his descendants. From him, God did ask a response, a painful one. We're speaking about the covenant of circumcision, or milah in Hebrew. We refer to it as bris milah. Brit in Hebrew means covenant. At Mount Sinai, God asked the Israelites for much more. Rabbi Sacks says, at Sinai, he asked them to recognize God as their sole sovereign and legislator. In relationship terms, God became our one and only. The Sinai covenant came with a few more commandments. God gave us 613 ways to be close to him. Rabbi Sacks says, as the covenants proceed, God asks more and more of his partners. Or, to put it slightly differently, and what I connect to most in my life, he entrusts us with even greater responsibility. Something also happened at Mount Sinai that had not happened before. God asks Moses to speak to the people about the nature of the covenant to see if the people agree. There, the Israelites say the famous words, Na'aseh v'nishma, we will do and we will listen. God only spoke the 10 commandments after the people agreed. This was the first time the covenant was mutual. God doesn't impose his rule by force. Both sides had to agree. This idea grows over time, but in this week's Parsha, it's taken one step further. Moses, of his own initiative, renews the covenant with his people. He says, all of you standing here today to enter a covenant of the Lord your God and its oaths, which the Lord your God is making with you today, to establish you today as his people, that he may be your God as he promised you and swore to your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The terms of Jewish history were about to change. What was the change? The shift from divine initiative to human initiative. This is what Moses is preparing the Israelites for in the last month of his life. It's as if he was saying, up to now, God has led and you have followed through the great miracles of Egypt and in the desert. Now, God is handing over the reins of history to you. From here on in, you must lead. We were no longer children in the eyes of God, but adults. The relationship has changed. Adults are capable of carrying the burden of responsibility. Adults don't wait for someone to take the first step. This is the dramatic significance of Parsha Nitzavim. It's about getting ready for a new beginning in which we act for God instead of waiting for God to act for us. We see this change going forward in Jewish history in the events of Hanukkah and Purim, but that's a whole other topic. Translate this to human terms, and we can see how life-changing this idea can be. Rabbi Sacks shares his experience of waiting to receive a word of encouragement from a senior rabbinical figure as he was working hard, trying innovative approaches to getting people involved in Jewish life and learning. He says, you need support in these moments because taking risks and suffering criticism is emotionally draining. The encouragement never came. The silence hurt. Then it hit him. He thought, what if I turn the scenario around? What if instead of me waiting for Rabbi X to encourage me, I encourage him? What if I did for him what I was hoping he would do for me? He says this was a life-changing moment. He began to form an idea. Don't wait to be praised, praise others. Don't wait to be respected, respect others. Don't stand on the sidelines criticizing others. Do something to make things better. Don't wait for the world to change. Begin the process yourself and then win others to join the cause. I love this idea. I have tried to live this idea. Be the change you wish to see in the world. It's a message of empowerment. We don't have to wait for the world to change. We have to change the world, and we can. What are you passionate about? Whatever it is, do something about it. If we want to live in a kinder world, we need to be kind. If we're concerned about the environment, organize a neighborhood cleanup. Try to buy locally grown produce. Remember to bring your reusable bags to the grocery store. Note to self. We may think that these small daily acts don't count for much, but they can literally change the world. This last book of the Torah marks the end of the Jewish people's childhood. From there on, Rabbi Sacks teaches us, Judaism became God's call to human responsibility. For us, faith is not waiting for God. Faith is the realization that God is waiting for us. How inspiring is that? In our own lives, whenever we find ourselves upset because someone hasn't done for us what we think they should have done, turn the thought around and then do it for them. Don't wait for things to get better. Take the initiative yourself. The world is waiting for us. What a message as we approach the high holidays. May we all be blessed with a happy, healthy, and sweet new year. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom.